welcome to Transformers Step by Step Ratchet. Okay, so this is Transformers Prime Ratchet. Got him secondhand from a store called Retro Madness. Not sponsored, by the way. A very cool store. If you, if you're a geek, there's so many things there. I mean, there's like G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers. It's really a geeky place. Just filled to the brim with awesome stuff that, you know, it's just nostalgic. I'm still a kid, so that's a thing for me. That's a very big thing, because, I mean, I'm still a child, so I should be nostalgic I shouldn't be nostalgic yet, but I am for some reason. Let's talk about Ratchet. So this is Transformers Prime Ratchet, as I already stated. Pretty angular, but, I mean, he looks like the spitting image of the show model. The only kibble I can actually find on him that isn't supposed to be there is this back piece, the little holes here, and the calf things. It's been like a few days since I watched the show, so I don't know if the calf things are supposed to be there or not. I think they're supposed to be a smaller version. They're not supposed to stick out this much, but I mean, there's still some calf stuff. It's just a bit more intrusive, but it doesn't really hamper the posing at all. It just makes it look a bit weird. So let's transform this guy, shall we? But before we do that, we should do the number 2 pencil test. So if we look at him compared to a number 2 pencil, he's about 2/3 of the height. So that's a pretty good height, actually, compared to, you know, deluxes of this era, because, yeah, this guy's from 10 years ago when plastic wasn't that expensive as it is today, so they had a higher budget to make him bigger and stuff, so this is why I love the Prime era figures. This is a great toy, actually, but let's transform him, shall we? So first thing you want to do is, what is the first step on this guy? I didn't get him with instructions because, of course, I didn't. But what I can actually gather from this is, like, I figured it out on my own. So if I miss a step or misdo a step or mistransform it a bit, just know I tried my hardest. So first thing you want to do is lift up these panels on his back. Well, not on his back, but on his feet. Just like that, and you're going to want to... Oh, thank goodness, I didn't break them. There's like these really, there's these things, which are hooks, and they're clear plastic. So I'm afraid of them breaking at any moment. And I accidentally, like, did a step wrong, and I almost destroyed them, so... Oh, okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is not do what I just did. Hope you weren't following along with me. You're going to want to start following along now. So half transform them like this, and flip around these, like, heel or, like, knee sections around and flip them up. Then next thing you want to do is tab them together like this. It's going to take a few tries because it's really hard to tab these together just on your own. But if these don't tab in, that's completely fine. You're going to have to deal with the top for a sec either way. But you're just going to want to, like, make sure that these top halves are below, like, the waistline right here, so that eventually they can tab in. And you're just going to want to, like, weasel your way into that so that you don't break the figure. Yep, there you go. It's, like, supposed to be like this. There you go. That's how it's supposed to look. But you're going to want to keep it so that it's not aligned, so that you can do the worst part of the transformation. Now, this is usually easy. It's just on camera. It doesn't look easy because I have to, like, you know, make sure it looks, I can actually keep it on camera. But, like, if I was off camera, I would be able to do that in, like, less than 10 seconds, basically. The thing I wouldn't be able to do in less than 10 seconds is this top part. So first thing you want to do is flip out these arm panels. Pretty easy. Nothing too bad there. Then flip the arms back a bit, like that. And flip the top panel up a bit. and flip the arms until they look like they'll be able to fit these gaps. And flip it up, twist the arm down, well, twist the hand down, and tab it in like that. Do the same for the other side. But, oh, you should have done it at the exact same time, otherwise it's not going to work. It's like a nightmare to tab in all of it correctly at the same time, so just because of the top section too, like all of this is a nightmare. So you're going to want to... Of course, whenever you say an issue, it just doesn't show up. So I actually did it perfectly this time, thank goodness. And yeah, it usually doesn't end out that perfectly. Like usually it just fails at its job, but no, today it actually decided to cooperate with me. Right as I said, oh, this doesn't cooperate with me. Okay, so lift up these sections until they go up onto the little hinges. 1 second. If you can see right there, that's where they're supposed to tab into. So you just lift them up until they're locked into there. And then you're just going to tab them together. And there you go. That's Ratchet's alternate mode. Okay, this is nice and compact. The only part that is there that isn't supposed to be is this little hole in here because that's where the hinge was. But I mean, yeah, that doesn't really matter to me. Like, I mean, it's an emergency vehicle, so, I mean, it should have, like, a hatch door that opens up here. Well, I mean, it shouldn't as a toy, because, I mean, it has to, like, physically work. But, I mean, unless it's a masterpiece or something. But, I'm talking about, like, just, if, compared to the real vehicle, there should be, like, something here. Because there'd be a door. If this was a real-life vehicle, there'd be a door there. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not that intrusive, and... Okay, who do you know that, like, plays with their figures like this? Or displays their figures like this? No, you display it from the front, exactly. So, I mean, like, it isn't really intrusive. Like, there's only 1 or 2 angles it looks bad from. And even if it looks bad and you can see it, like, it's not intrusive and you wouldn't even notice it if I didn't point it out. Okay, maybe you would. But, I mean, like, you could barely notice it and it wouldn't be that much of an issue. Other thing is, let's talk about the character. So this is Ratchet, one of my favorite characters from Transformers Prime. He's like a grumpy old person from the war. Because on Cybertron, oh geez, I have to run down the plot. So on Cybertron, there's a war between the Autobots and the Decepticons. This guy was there from the start, and he's really grumpy about it. He's like this in everything now. Because, I mean, in the Generation 1, he was a non-character. Like, he didn't really show up that much. I mean, I watched only a few select episodes of the Generation 1 because, I mean, well, I watched a bunch, but, I mean, I don't really have that best memory. The only things I can remember from Generation 1 is the first episode on the dam with the axes and maces with energons, the Dinobot episode, and Mirage taking out the, what do you call it? Mirage taking out the Nemesis. That's the only thing I remember from G1. So, this is Ratchet, and he was a non-character from it, basically. And from what I hear, he wasn't anything, even in the other episodes that I don't remember. But he really took off when Michael Bay used him in Transformers 2007, not 1998. I don't think Michael Bay would have directed it then. But he used him as one of his main characters, so he really took off as a character because of how well the movie did. So, he was used in a bunch of other media then, and then he got ported into Prime, and he was a great character. Like, I mean, I really resonated with him because I just loved his character because, like, he was so sarcastic. He was a little bit, like, cynical, but I mean, he like, once you get to know him, he's nice. And I just really like that sort of character that isn't always super optimist. That was not intended to be a joke. Not super optimist, but super optimistic. Because, I mean, to me, that's just like, oh, okay, everything's great. Okay, look on the bright side of every situation. Can I have a few seconds to be sad for a second, and then I'll get to you after that? So I liked a little bit of cynicism in my characters. That's why I love Rat Trap so much. He's so sarcastic. So that's what he was. He was just a super sarcastic person. He was like the scientist of the group, which is why Wheeljack was a warrior for some reason. And he like created synthetic energon, which made people go insane. That's a whole topic for another day. But he was a really smart bot, and he was an awesome character. Now this video is getting pretty long, so goodbye guys. If you like the content you see, hit that like button and subscribe. See you next one. Bye bye.